Dash from Bloom Where You're Planted, and as promised, this morning I am breeding all my rabbits. As I said in my last video, I'm a little bit late. I usually wait the month of October because in the heat of the summer, the male rabbit actually loses his virility. He becomes temporarily sterile for a time to protect the babies, I guess. And there's not much food in the dearth of the summertime. So anyway, so then I wait October for the cool weather to set in and for him to get his fertility back, and then I breed November 1st. So this is December 1st. So this is the beginning of December. So obviously I'm late, just had a lot going on, but that's okay. We're gonna do it now. There is one way you can start a little bit earlier in the South. Of course, this is the Southern breeding schedule. We have to do this in the winter because we can't do it in the summer. It's too hot. And spring just slams into summer really quick. So there's one way you can do it a little bit, get a little jump on it, and that is to keep your buck, one of your bucks, in the house in a rabbit cage for the month of September. And then he'll be in the air conditioning with you, and then you could breed him October 1st. So that would be a good way to get a jump on it. In my last video, if you saw it, I couldn't decide whether to breed Nugget, which is really small, but he's fresh in our herd. He's got totally different bloodline. I got him from a really good friend of mine. And in fact, his dad throws champions. So, but he's tiny. I mean, he is tiny for a meat rabbit. Or to breed Big Ears, which Big Ears is bigger, but his bloodline is pretty, you know, mixed pretty well with the rabbits I already have. So, because he's a baby of one of my rabbits. So, what I decided to do ultimately, I was thinking about it last night, I was thinking about it this morning, and I decided I'm gonna breed Nugget, and I'm also gonna breed Big Ears, and then I'm just gonna weigh their babies, and I'm gonna see. And if Nugget consistently turns out babies that are too small for a meat rabbit production rabbit, then of course I will sell him, you know, I'll pass him on. But I'm gonna give him a try. So we're gonna breed both of them. So I've never had 3 bucks before. Normally you have like 1 buck and more does, like 1 buck and 3 does. But I have 3 bucks and 3 does. So, but that's okay. It is good to have a spare buck, I have to say, because one year I just had 1 buck and 2 does when I started out, and a bobcat literally scared my buck to death. So there was my rabbit production over, and Champagne d'Argents are hard to get in this area. They're pretty rare, which makes them very profitable. But yeah, we had to drive copious amounts of miles to get a new buck, and he wasn't even pedigreed. So yeah, so it's good to have another buck. I don't know about 3, but we're gonna go with that this season. Also in my notebook, I have a sheet of fall 2018 breeding season, and I'm gonna put everything about who I mated to whom, on what date, and I'm gonna put it on my calendar 28 days from now to put in the nest box, because they'll be having their babies throughout then, about the 27th day actually, because anywhere from 28 to 30 days they have their babies. So, all right, so I just write down everything that happens, how many babies they have, who has what, who's mated to whom, whether it was successful or not. All right, let's get started. I'm gonna go introduce the happy couples to you. My first rabbit is Buddy. He is a rock star buck. He's really sweet in personality, and he's a great champagne. His babies have won on the show table. My students tell me, my 4-H students tell me that they are winning on the show table. So, just Buddy. Yeah, Buddy. And he pairs up with Adeline. She's the matriarch of most of my rabbits. She is beautiful, and she's the mother of the show winners that are winning on the show table. And she's also very, very nervous rabbit. So she is also 4 years old, so she's getting older for a breeding rabbit. So last breeding season her litters were not very big, so we'll see what happens this breeding season. So she's been with me a long time. I love her. And she always pairs up with Buddy. They're kind of a couple. And Buddy's on the wrong end. Come on, Buddy. Wrong end again. A lot of times a rabbit will mount on the wrong end. So I don't think that they're just stupid or they're just too eager. I think it is showing domination. So I think it's dominating the female and getting her where she will receive him on the right end. But I don't know. I'm not an expert. That's what it seems to me though. Breeding rabbits is kind of an all-day thing. So you want to pick a nice day because you want to breed in the morning, and then the eggs will come down with the act of breeding, and then you want to breed later on in the afternoon so that those eggs will be there available, so you get a bigger litter. And you want to be here to watch. One, you want to make sure that it's successful breeding, and the male will kind of grunt and fall off when it's a successful breeding. So hopefully we'll get to see that. Hopefully. And then you also want to be here because sometimes the female can turn on the male. Adeline is a very good female. Her and Buddy get along great, so I don't think that's going to be a problem with this group. But like Nugget and Big Ears, my next two bucks, they've never bred before. This is their first time, and Madeline's first time breeding. So sometimes the female can turn on the buck, and she can really hurt him. So you need to be here to watch that. You don't want your new male buck to have a bad experience the first time mating. You want it to go smoothly. So stay there and protect your buck. And then another thing is I breed in exercise pens. I just like it. But a lot of times you can breed in your cages, that's fine. And you need to take the doe to the buck's cage, because if you try to put the buck in the doe's cage, she will try to defend her territory. That is her nesting territory, and she'll try to defend it. So definitely always remember, take the doe to the buck's cage. And the way I tell my students that I teach, my 4-H students, is she doesn't want to have that old messy smelly buck over in her apartment because he's gonna mess it all up. So she's gonna go to his place. All right. So it looks like Adeline is really not into this, but hopefully Buddy can talk her into it. Let's go to our next pair. My next couple is Big Ears. He's got big kind of floppy ears for a champagne. He was originally meant, don't tell him, for a butcher demonstration, but he wasn't needed for that, and I've grown attached to him, and he looks like a really good buck. So he's our next buck to breed. Say hi, Big Ears. He's got his ears tucked back. You can't see him really. Next, this is Madeline. She is Adeline's daughter, because Adeline's getting older, so I wanted to replace her in my breeding program along those same lines. So she is Buddy and Adeline's daughter, and this will be her first time breeding, and she'll be a first time mom. So let's see how this goes. Come on, Big Ears. And the happy couple meets. for the first time. Again, wrong end. But I think there might be a reason for that. I think he might be showing his dominance, trying to talk her into submitting. So, we'll see. Cross your fingers, folks. Oh, that reminds me. You want to breed your rabbits all on one day. Because if you have a new mom and she has her rabbits, if she has her babies, she doesn't know what to do with them. You know, sometimes that happens. And you can foster them to another more experienced mom like Adeline. Now people say breed like rabbits. Well, it's not always that simple. Because in the South, our breeding season is at the beginning of winter, the start of winter. And everything in that rabbit's instinct is to not breed at the start of winter, because there will not be enough food normally for her babies and her. So, and it has to do with this, just like chickens, it has to do with the shortness of the day. Less daylight signals to her that it's not time to breed. Rabbits instinctively want to breed in the springtime. So that is difficult, and it's also difficult going from a long summer season. I stopped breeding in May. So May, June, July, August, September, October it's been. So 5 months it's been that they haven't been breeding. So it is difficult to have that long gap and get them interested in breeding back again. But hopefully Buddy can talk her into it. It's very important, especially if you're going to be a southern breeder, rabbit breeder, then you need to have an aggressive male. Somebody that is not going to give up. Well, things aren't going particularly well. Breeding day. Buddy's still over here trying to talk Adeline into it, but she's hunkered down and she's having nothing to do with it. Come on, Buddy, you can talk her into it. I know you can. You can do this. You're a champ. Sometimes when you have a first timer like Madeline, you have to help the buck out a bit. So I'm gonna get in there and see if I can help out. It's okay. Oh, 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 oh. That's all right. Okay. I just noticed there's something wrong with Big Ear's left eye. So, glad I noticed. This eye, I hope you guys can see it. This eye is clear and brown. And this eye is very much not. It's got the inner eyelid seems to be pulled down over the eye and not retracting like it should. So that's disappointing. It could have gotten injured, but it looks like it could be genetic to me. So I'm pulling him from the breeding program today. So that makes that decision. I'm pulling him. I'll keep an eye on it, but definitely can't sell him with this. And I really shouldn't breed him. So, darn, my big ears. Who knows, maybe it'll go down. I'll wash it out with some saline. See, you know, if there's something in it irritating that's causing that. but my gut is that it's genetic. Darn it. So that means that Nugget gets in the action. That's a shame, but Nugget looks perfectly healthy, but he's tiny for a champagne. He's small, so frustrating. But yeah, switching gears this morning. I'm glad that nothing had happened with Big Ears and Madeline. So that was good that that didn't work out right away. So hopefully Nugget will have better luck. And the happy couple meets for the first time. That is sweet. Come on, Nugget, you tiny little thing, you. Uh-oh. Okay, I think I better intervene. Really, Nugget? Set it all up here for ya. Really? Really? Is that leaf really more interesting than this? Okay, well at least he's looking interested. She's not, though. Well, as you can see, things aren't really going very well today. Sometimes it plays out that way. So I'm gonna keep trying, and I'll let you know if we have some success. Talk her into a Nugget. You can do it. All right, nothing is really happening here. Neither one of them is feeling it. The bucks are being pretty aggressive, so that's awesome. But yeah, the does are not having anything to do with it, so that's a bummer. I guess I'm glad this happened, because welcome to breeding rabbits in the South. That first breeding after that long dry summer, the long hot summer, is just difficult. It always is. It always has been for me. So what do? Okay, well, I can give them black oil sunflower seeds, so I will start doing that, upping their fat, and I will give them raspberry tea. I will buy raspberry herbal tea from the health food store, and I will brew that for them and give them that in their water along with apple cider vinegar. And then it would be ideal if I could put a light on them so that they would get, that's really the most important thing, that they would get more daylight hours, and then that would stimulate them to want to breed. But I can't do that because I have an outdoor rabbitry, just not conducive to that. But the other thing I'm gonna do is switch their cages, so put them next to each other. Right now I've got like 2 females next to each other, so I'm gonna switch them around. So I'm gonna do that. I'll put the buck in her cage and her in the buck's cage, just kind of get those scents switched up. And then I will try again in a few days. So that's kind of how it goes. You think, you know, rabbits are rabbits. Rabbits breed like rabbits. You hear that all the time. But for a southern breeder, it can be a little bit more difficult than that. So that's it for today. I spent probably an hour out here. I drank my coffee. I'm ready to go in and I need to start my day. So I will add those things to their diet and switch up their cages, and then we'll give it another try probably tomorrow or the next day, as long as it's not raining. So wish me luck. I'll keep you posted.